start the recording. And the next thing I'm going to do is share the screen. Let's see, hopefully this time I shared just a browser. Oh my God, I really have this many browser tabs. Where did they go? Desktop. What is this? Sorry about this. I need to find the right window. Make sure that this is a Chrome window. Yes, it is. Let me try this again. Here it is. Okay, just a browser. No calendar this time.
That looks right.
There we see.
All right, awesome.
Just a browser.
Okay, everyone. Welcome to the August 17th iteration of the MicroProfile live Hangout. And let's see, is a link to the meeting notes in the chat. Can someone please paste a link to the meeting minutes in the chat? And thanks, Amelia. Please click on the link and add your name to the list of attendees. And it is everyone's shared responsibility to take notes as we go. And this meeting is being recorded along with the chat, and both will be uploaded typically within the next day up to YouTube. Okay, end of the spiel. So let's move on to our regular agenda. Again, trying to make this more a status meeting. Emily, MicroProfile 5.
Yeah, so it's very slow progress being made by different spec teams. I think we had pencil in some dates. I think realistically we need to move on faster. So I think it's important for the component spec to start releasing the release candidate. So if we cannot, obviously now is the config is we have RC1, and then it's kind of we do kind of final another RC, like with all the tidy up stuff, and also is create a branch and etc. And then really other spec really need to start planning their RC. I have seen JWT is making good progress. And also is I think the next one, I know is Edwin, you are working on the metrics. I think I will be, since you are back, I think it will be very good. We can release metrics as well. So in the next few days, do RC so that unblock some other specs, so they can make they can compile against it. So it's
Yes.
So basically we need to we need to kind of pay more attention. Otherwise, we won't be able to achieve do any release this year even.
Yeah, so for me, the metrics PR is out, as you said. In all honesty, I'm still on holiday, so I kind of dusted off my laptop and started it up today for this meeting and my happenings in the Java thing. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish the PR this week. So maybe next one.
May I have a question?
Early, if it's
for Emily and Edwin, why hasn't there been more activity in the community forum with backlog and progress so that maybe others can jump in and help? It seems to me that we are still vacuumed collaborating when we know there are many new microprofilers that want to become microprofilers and help with the release. So I'm wondering, why is it so vacuum?
So the issue is clearly in the MicroProfile GitHub repo. The people, if they want help, I think it would be important to just directly grab the PRs. Because for metrics is kind of slightly different because Edwin started the PR and then it has some comments, but obviously we need to wait to address these comments and etc. So
Emily, I understand that, but what I'm saying is someone that has never been to this call, someone that is absolutely new to the MicroProfile forum, and the ecosystem. We don't have a documentation on how to jump into helping on a release. And my question is, can we communicate via the community forums and say, if you want to help on the MP5, these are some of the PRs we're working on, some of the issues, and these are some, can we do a little bit more of over communicating so that those newcomers that wish to help, right? I have directed a few to the issues, but that is not good because we say, join the forum. Can we be a little bit kinder with the work so that we scale? This would be like onboarding Edwin 2 years ago to help Kevin and John do a release. Now, John and Kevin are not really related to the release per se, but he is one of the leaders of the release, right? But it took us a very long time. Not everyone can join these calls. So can we do this through the forum?
So the request is to post a MicroProfile, here's how you get started post to the
Correct.
MicroProfile Google group.
Can we do
Okay.
that? Just if we can document it.
Emily?
I'm
something that you can do?
I'm not sure at this moment of time is because actually it's unless we want because there's a dependency on metrics, and then health is people kind of I think Martin is working on that. So at the moment is kind of the people are working on that. I'm not sure whether getting some new people directly is working on this because they couldn't do the release. You need to be a committer to be able to do the release. I don't think at this point in time is not okay, we work on some functionalities and etc.
Emily, I will cut you in that. So then you're literally saying that if you're not a committer, your time and wish contributions are not valuable to MP5.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying for kicking off the release, create a release candidate, and you need to be a MicroProfile committer to be able to kick off a Jenkins build. And also I'm saying is for the kind of the jakartaee 9.1 alignment, and there's the issues, and the spec teams are working on the issues at the moment. I know I know there's someone, I can't remember his name, trying to work on some issue. Ask him to comment on the issue because there's an issue already on the GitHub repo. So what I can do, I think, is if someone want to help, basically probably not immediate help because there's some dependencies and etc. So there's a kind of is an overall issue, so that's a document that has a link to all the other issues, and they can put their name on against the issue, and also is kind of communicate via mailing list. We'll see.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to wait until someone from the community shows up and says, oh, I'm going to spend some spare time on it because I would like to. There are spec teams involved that need to back this, right? So
yeah,
maybe we need to engage them instead of finding people from the community. That is additional work and additional help. That's wonderful, but the spec teams need to back this, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my point view. This is not directly saying, okay, I have this idea. Here's my contribution.
And then how do we feel about asking the spec leads through the community forum to bring each different thread, showing the PRs or issues and welcoming anyone? Maybe no one shows up, but give the opportunity. It's just one email and diverse APIs that we have at play. I think every single time we close the loop, we increase the barrier to entry for coders, right? It is super easy to jump and contribute to MicroProfile marketing because someone tweets, we notice. And then we say, hey, do you want to transcribe this or translate? And then immediately we get translations in different languages and things like this. And can we be more proactive? I think there's a kindness in code because the code needs to be maintained. And it's
right.
just, I will stop here because this is not a solution.
Well, basically, so just trying to turn into a status call. I want to cap this.
Sorry about it. So yeah,
and then we can move on. Right.
Just in a second, Bob moved on. I have a question about MP5. Question maybe to Emily possibly. Do we have a plan to adopt Jakarta config, or at least modified version of MP config addressing Jakarta config changes in MP5, or it's a plan for the next version of
Right, that's a plan for the next version. Basically, so that's why I'm very keen to release the individual spec. I mean, as soon as possible, so that the spec can make further changes. So MP50 only include the namespace change. And then once the spec, for example, config has done the namespace change, the Jakarta JavaX to Jakarta EE, and then it can add new functionalities. So it's so, and then 50 just pick up the release from the config and run with it.
So I just didn't quite understand. So you are actually proposing moving MP config as it is to Jakarta with a namespace change, release it as part of MP5, and after that make another release in Jakarta, or you are saying that the namespace change is going to be the only change, and MP5 will contain MP config with some dependencies updated, right? And after that, there will be some work to satisfy Jakarta config, new version released, and it will be moved to Jakarta config finally.
Yeah, so MP5.0 only contain the no functional change. Only is the Jakarta E9.1 alignment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thanks. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, we have to be careful, and this is a good point. We have to be careful using namespace change, because that's kind of an overloaded concept right now. I would just say Jakarta, alignment with the most recent Jakarta specs.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry, I said a namespace change, and then I think I
we all do it.
And then I later I more explain 9.1 alignment.
Yeah, then I think the change of MicroProfile config to Jakarta config is a major release after 5.0, right? Because it's a breaking change. All the specs using MP config have to change their spec too, right?
So it's all the functional change will happen after. So it's 5.0 just alignment with 9.1.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
So the other thing is okay, as to do, I think what Edwin said makes sense. That's kind of things up with what I'm thinking. So as a to do, and I will send a mailing list to encourage and also urge all the spec to make immediate action towards the Jakarta 9.1 alignment. So it's, and then I will ask them to call for help if they need any help. So in this way, I think is satisfy Amelia's requirement. But I think one thing is we need to bear in mind some issues we can easily handle out, and other issues probably they need more careful thinking. Okay. Yeah.
Totally good.
Okay, that's fine. Let's move on.
Okay. Let's move. Any other 5 comments? So we can hopefully move on. All right, let's go to specification process. Emily.
Oh yeah, so in the last week's technical call, so we had a good conversation with the about the new spec process. I'm sorry, I haven't put an update here yet. So it's I'm going to write it up after this, tomorrow. So basically, we agreed the MicroProfile sandbox is a step is going to be optional, and also we adopt the Jakarta kind of the new spec process. So I will put a quick update on the MicroProfile Dash working group with a new proposal update, and then we can we'll see whether we have more comments. And then we could use the new process to try out both Open Telemetry and gRPC.
All right, sorry. So I was taking a quick note. You said sandbox repo, right? Starting step is optional, and then sorry, you were bringing up
Adopt and then also adopt jakartaee, the process for creating new specs. Have a plan review and a release review. Did I get the word right, Kevin?
Well, that's not a Jakarta EE process. That's just the Eclipse
Oh,
development
Eclipse
process.
Foundation one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't say adopt because we have to follow.
Follow. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Move on to community outreach. Chandra, Kevin, or Emerson?
I don't think anything's been happening there.
Okay.
Emerson?
No, nothing here. No, nothing to report right now.
From the marketing side, we continue to outreach through social media and also private the communities. And we have not yet used the swag that we need to update, but that will come. I have deleted the budget section because we still need to discuss the new t-shirts and then show them to the community for, hey, this is happening. All MicroProfile committers and active contributors will get their t-shirts this year. And maybe also the hoodies that we haven't had since 2006. So all is coming, but it's a work in progress because in the marketing side, we need to talk about updating the designs. That doesn't include only Ryan, but everyone else, including the community. So it will come to the forum once we have discussed it, but it's part of the outreach and what I call the MicroProfile champions, right? Program. And it's part of the budget discussion as well,
Okay.
so they're linked. I deleted it. Yeah.
Move on down to budget if there's nothing else for community outreach.
Nothing else. And this is part of the budget update too. All of it is linked. So I have done 2 updates in one.
Okay. Marketing, who is currently Debbie?
Yes, she sent me some update, but I see that there is also a long list of completed tickets, but maybe a short recap of what is done last week days. There are a few updates on the website. So there is an update on the working group page of the website where the program plans and budget info is updated and added. There is also various updates on the website around how to perform a pull request, and like the contributing doc is updated. There is the CN4J messaging is added, etc. So the entire website is a bit up to date now. There was also a discussion about upcoming things, like for instance the voting on the compatibility logo. There was discussion and tests to see how, for instance, SurveyMonkey can be used. to get that feedback from the community about the compatibility logos. And there is also a test going on together with Oracle, with Ed, around the access of on the issues to see if contributors can also be assigned on GitHub the tickets, etc. Because for the moment you cannot assign those people. Only the MicroProfile committers can be assigned. So that's also a thing what is going on and in a test phase.
Okay.
So I'll put that shorter summary also here in this section.
When you were talking about the website being out of date or up to date, I couldn't quite understand which one you were saying.
It is more up to date now than before. It was
Okay.
not probably not out of date, but there are a few updates made to get the latest info and the latest documentation, like the CM4J messaging and positioning, for instance.
Okay.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed this morning, I was looking at the MicroProfile presentation, and the link points here, and there's no 4.1, but I know Emily worked on the 4.1 slide deck, and I opened that, and it's in a different drive folder. And so I'll open up an issue, and we'll work this part out.
Yeah, it looks like our links are bad.
Yeah, so it's either the link is bad or the presentation's in the wrong location. One of those two things.
Emily knows, yesterday we discussed this and the marketing, she knows that this is not the folder to be used for the releases. And we showed her where all the information goes. It's in the community folder. Emily, can you follow this up with a ticket to make sure that that gets adjusted? Please.
I thought is we are talking two different things. At first, I thought is all the things in the red place. So I think this is the latest release presentations. I think we are talking something different.
Yeah, we don't use that that folder for releases. So that those items are deleted. So let's clean up that. And if you have any questions, submit a Git ticket and we help you so we can clean it.
Yeah, and I want to understand that too. So let's take that one offline. And we'll figure that part out, because I thought it was kind of the same thing, but maybe not.
It's not.
Okay. Yeah. All right. In hindsight here, as I mentally think about it, yeah. I think I understand that. All right. All right. The anonymous correspondent, I don't know who that is updating the notes on the marketing section. All right. Anything else on marketing? Then we can move on to branding and compatibility.
So I took an action item that I haven't followed through on, so I'll try to get to that today, which was to start a vote on, are we ready to just at least get the platform logo taken care of? So shame on me.
Well, that's in branding and compatibility, right?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, didn't we move on? I'm sorry, I thought.
Well, okay, no, that's fine. We have now. Thank you for moving things forward, David.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought is there anything left for marketing? And no one said anything.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you're good.
Anyway, so yeah, I need to start that vote in terms of how the actual, vote will occur for the logo. That's up to the marketing people. So I don't really know what that process will be.
Yeah, and I'm also due, and I'll see if I can get to it today. My camera turned off. A resolution basically to the steering committee that allows the community to vote on the logos. One of the things that we discussed was making sure that it's officially stated that the steering committee kind of delegates to the community the rights to, or not the rights, but the ability to choose a logo.
Sure.
So I owe that one, and I'll see if I can get to that one today.
And while the two of you do that, I will update really quickly on this that we hope to use SurveyMonkey. We will pay for the account. Edwin, I will follow an email publicly because we need to create a new email that will be for service. And one of the most important microprofilers that should be added to it is Edwin. So the question will be for Edwin in that email to say, would you like to be one of the admins? Edwin is the chosen committer representative in community. It is one of his tasks to be sure to bring as much information from the community on things that he wishes to know that will enable him to vote. So Edwin, expect that email is coming. It's going to be in the mailbox for a few microprofiles and also the microprofile forum, marketing forum, actually. I'm not going to bombard the other ones, but it's part of the process. We have created a document that says trackers, and it tells you what is expected when we use Twitter pools or SurveyMonkey and what's going on in the level of transparency on this. And everything is being worked out on that side, and everyone is welcome to check the minutes from the marketing side and check the Git issues and links and see if you want to be involved as well.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a community vote. So basically, Edwin is free to vote as himself, as everybody.
Correct, but I'm talking about access to SurveyMonkey that is related to bringing in a tool that he can use in the future, because this is not going to be a one-off. We will have it as a tool for the future, and it's super exciting because Rudy and Edwin work in a document that we have used to analyze what to use for this kind of thing on ranking in this SurveyMonkey, and this is Ryan's work. So it's pretty cool. Ryan is here, so if he wants to update, that would be great. The last task was to find out if we can add forums to the SurveyMonkey, and Ryan found out. Ryan, you're here, right? The answer is yes.
Yep, I'm here. I believe so. I think, yeah, we discussed it last week, and it's possible. So I don't see any setbacks with using SurveyMonkey. It seems to have whatever we want to do, they have the capabilities of doing it. So.
Thank you, Ryan. We can move on. Only John and David have questions, 2 resolutions to send. As soon as that is done, action items. As soon as that is done, we can continue the work to submit the 5 different logos.
Right. So do you need the Eclipse Foundation to set up the SurveyMonkey account on your behalf?
No, Paul, no, because we will need different microprofilers to have access, and we want total transparency on voting and things. We want to have full ownership.
Right. I think that can be established. I'm saying that if you'd like to pay for it through your MicroProfile budget, then please ask the Eclipse Foundation to set up the account. If a member is going to do this and pay for it themselves, then they can go ahead and do that too. You've got choices.
Perfect, Paul. Thank you so much. If we go through the route, we will submit a Git ticket and then send it to the forum, to the MicroProfile working group forum. Thanks so much.
What is the preferred way to request that stuff, Paul?
For now, send an email to Sharon. I think we do want to work it through issues, but just send an email directly to Sharon.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't.
Issues is a better way, but we just got to iron that out.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, David. Good question.
Thanks, Paul, for interjecting.
Yeah, no problem at all.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
So super fun. So the 2 of you, John, David, please send that out, and then we can be unblocked and create the infra for this, because everything else has been tackled. So we're just waiting.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move on. The infrastructure.
One question.
Go for it.
The use of SurveyMonkey. Did anybody check GDPR compliance on SurveyMonkey?
No, we haven't, John. Is this something that we
from the European perspective, it could be an app use setting community emails from the mailing list, for example, and service without agreement of every user and its personal information.
You mean using the? Okay.
I think that the link would be sent to the forum.
To the forum. There would be
I don't believe that we'll be taking people's email addresses and sending them a direct email.
No emails. Only forum. That would be the community forum and the dev MicroProfile forum. That are the committers forum that is private, but only the committers and the EMO receives. And then there is the regular forum. Those are the 2 emails. There will be no personal email, nothing.
Yeah, but how
we do
they
use SurveyMonkey for the Jakarta survey and the IoT survey. So we do have a path through SurveyMonkey that does keep us in GDPR compliance.
If we were to use the independent emails, correct, Paul?
Yeah, I don't think we collect email addresses for the surveys. There may be an optional, and if it is optional, then you're opting in to provide it. But I don't think we actually do collect that information.
Yeah, and we don't plan to collect any information. We just want to secure and know who is like that you are part of the forum. But John, that is a really good question. Same thing we had yesterday.
Is then still guaranteed that only one person has one vote?
Yeah, exactly. That would be my question as well. If we're not collecting any information, then
I think, yeah, I don't know. Other than to say it's probably unique email address, and we could take a look at how we're doing it from a survey perspective to assure it's one.
Yeah, if we just expose a link like I've done with several Jakarta surveys and other stuff for my work, if you expose the link and say people, you can click it, yeah, in different browser sessions, you can resubmit if you want to. You can abuse it, but this is a choice. You can send directly to email addresses or just expose the link via SurveyMonkey. But yeah, the pros and cons are there.
Vince,
you can't request an email address as part of the survey?
For my head?
Sorry, no.
Okay.
I didn't.
No.
No? I mean, you can't have like a text area, so like, you know, what is your committer ID or something like that?
Yeah, you can customize the forms, but just it's not, you're not supposed to, or not necessarily needed. You don't necessarily need to provide your personal email address in order to fill in the form. You can customize it in various ways, but just exposing the link and letting people open it and submit it, that is the most public.
I mean, if we collected people's like committer handle, then we could just filter out requests. You know, we could tally up the committer votes. We could tally up all the votes, but
hey, do you you're talking about SurveyMonkey, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we're collecting anything like that, maybe this has been discussed, but we have to have our privacy policy on there.
Yes. That is what I'm going to do is I'm going to send my task right now is to send an email to the MicroProfile forum and send the documents we're working on and all the parameters that we need to think about to establish the new infra and these such a things to make sure that this is scalable not only for now but for the future. So everyone, like Edwin, Vince, everyone, you will be able to shape this and make it awesome. And this is happening. The email will be sent today.
Okay. So I'm going to put down, actually, Amelia, if you could just take your own AI and assign it to yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I will let you. Let's do better. John, call us out.
Yes, Amelia, do better. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That was a joke, everybody. Okay, infrastructure/website.
So no actions there since last week. I would just say that the one thing that I would hope we get done before the end of the year is replace the kind of Groovy based stuff that we're using for the individual spec projects and replace it with basic GitHub pages.
Okay. Maybe let's take a.
One thing about the website is that when we go to projects, the page now always comes up with 404, and there is no way to fix it. Summers, who is here, was the only one working in 2020 for to search how to fix it quickly, but I'm not sure if Summers wants to update us on Anything?
Yeah, so I sent an update a while ago, but it doesn't look like it got applied to the MicroProfile IO project.
All right.
I'm not sure what's up with that.
Okay, I sent you, I gave you access to all that stuff, so.
Yeah, and I sent a few emails to the list trying to like get some help and get some updates or things that just kind of never went nowhere, and I've just figured everyone got busy. And it
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. Do you want to, if you want to bump that thread up where you were looking to get unstuck, I'll see if I can keep an eye out for it.
Okay.
Thanks for looking into that stuff.
No problem. There should be another endpoint. So just very quickly, the problem is that it makes several hundred requests.
Yeah.
And what my change did was it just dumped all of that into one request and created a new endpoint. So it should have been backwards compatible on everything. So I don't know if necessarily the problems we're seeing now are related to that or not, because I don't see the endpoint I created.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's make sure you have all the access that you need to directly go in there and make changes. And then, you know, we'll go from there.
Okay, if one of you can just write a quick bullet on that, that would be awesome. I'm going to move on to technical goals. So Emily, Edwin, I don't think Roberto's on.
So last week we had the technical call. We mainly focus on the new spec process. And also we briefly discussed some prototype work in the open telemetry. So it's basically we meet weekly on Monday. It's on the MicroProfile calendar. So it's, we are still in the prototype stage. If we have a more concrete to display, we will get we will just update the community. So at the moment is moving along. Yeah, that's pretty much about the technical goals.
Edwin, anything to add?
No, not at this moment.
Okay. Awesome. All right, so we had a CN4J call. The meeting minutes are available here, along with a link to a slide deck that we started, where we decided we're going to focus on creating or defining principles, technical principles for CN4J. Here, I'll just click on it. And the recording is out there as well. So we only got 1.5 principles down. Sorry, things are slow refreshing here. But I'm going to be setting up a call for next Tuesday, where we'll just basically continue this discussion.
May I suggest that we actually cancel that call and work on this in a new thread, totally new thread, for us to say this will be a part of the mission statement. This should be a new slide. And, you know, there is a current thread that I added into this section of the discussion on how important it is for us to communicate and make sure the CN4J doesn't become a managing body. What I saw on last week's call was too fast, jumping into a call to do a work that we're not prepared to do just yet because we haven't brainstormed in writing. I consider it to have, if we have it next time, it's going to be a waste of 20 hours plus to whomever is attending. I believe that we can do better. And the thread that we're having that is added here shows you how many others feel the same and wish for the conversation to be asynchronous. And when we jump into a call, it should be strategic to unblock whatever has not been resolved in those communications. So here it is. I asked everyone that hasn't seen it or haven't participated to submit your feedback on it and say, hey, yes, I agree with this. I don't agree with this. This is important because it's not about the body, it's about the two projects and independence. And I will start with that. Jens, go ahead.
129 times 2 is 258.
Vince, we're seeing
Very
you.
interesting.
Yeah, that's nice to know.
I thought I muted my mic, but I obviously did not.
Come back.
That was the most boring thing we possibly could have heard from an unmuted mic.
I love it. This is recorded.
Do better
So
next time, Vince.
Yeah. So anyone, if you
Make
haven't,
it way more interesting next time.
if you're a member of the two communities, please use this forum, that thread, to submit your feedback and say, what are your states on this? How would you like for the two communities to collaborate? My preference, and I'm super biased, is for us to do most of the work through that email. And then when we are stuck, truly stuck, to jump into a call and move forward.
I think that thread was very helpful. And I think even if the discussion during the last meeting doesn't get the intended result, defining technical principles, we're even in the thread focused on organizational parts of the collaboration. It's good to work on the technical principles and on that scheduled meeting in parallel to the discussions on the thread.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have a face-to-face conversation, it's a virtual conversation on the call. I think it's like everybody hear each other's view, and but in the meanwhile have an offline conversation. The offline conversation seems that's kind of generates a moment of the heat and then disappeared. I think it's nice to have a kind of frequent like a regular course, like if a schedule call for next week, and then we can just look at like an offline conversation and then discuss it, and then like between next week and next call we still have more conversation happening offline. I think sometimes if you say, oh, let's take it offline, and then gradually people have some other busy things to do, and if they forget about it, I think it's important to have some regular things in the calendar. So you see, encourage people to think about it, and also encourage them to join in the conversation. I think it's important to announce this date, is saying, yeah, it's the kind of next week we'll have another call, and then people can comment on the thread, and then we look at the different options from the thread and then move on.
So I agree with the value of the calls, because we're here and it's super valuable, these calls that are status calls, right? My concern is that the low barrier to entry gets disabled when we integrate more processes that are another hour, 20 people will join, 20 hours invested in just setting up the mission or that messaging. My suggestion is to cancel the call and work on that messaging on one new thread and see how far we can get. If we add a soft deadline to say, we have until the end of this month to figure out in 2 weeks how much we get away with. And if nothing happens, then we go into September and have the first call to say, this is how far we got, and move forward. If we don't try, we will continue to increase, because we think that we can only do things when we jump and see each other's faces and voices, and that are not to be, right? We have members here that are joining from Iran, from India, and it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and they are here because they don't want to miss it. And if we continue to increase more time for iJog, for JAX and things, we will continue to lose the sight of what is important to us.
All right, well, let's not keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Right.
So my quick thoughts on this are, I'm really happy with the traction on the thread that I started, and thank you to everybody who participated. I thought that was really wonderful to see so many perspectives being put out on the list. in terms of wrapping it up and actually being able to pin down some shared principles at this moment, I don't really know if there are too many. So I don't know if there are too many. I guess that's the thing. I'm not opposed to having the call to see if we can pin down some principles, but everyone's perspectives were like, well, I would say like maybe 60% overlap and 40% variation, right? So I don't really know what the next step is there. So I'm happy to get on a conference call with people and say, how could we wrap this up or get to some conclusion?
So that's why it's important to have some brainstorm, like that kind of question is easily to nail down in a meeting. So I'm not suggesting, okay, every 2 weeks, let's have a call. I think it's at least like I have a call, and then especially during that call, and we look at what's next.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't want to see a standing call every other Tuesday.
Exactly. Neither do I think.
Well, just like I think we've reached a point where we've taken the marketing side to be more initiative driven, have a call if we need to go off and do an initiative. I think once we have the principles laid out and have, general agreement around the technical aspects, we could do the same on the technical side.
Yeah.
So I actually also like having the meeting on Tuesday. I just think it just expedites things.
Yeah,
I am happy to be the only -1. Totally okay. You can write. I can write myself into -1.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't want to see that like be a standing meeting that we just meet for the sake of meeting.
No,
it's on the schedule.
I will be violently very unhappy because that was not who we are.
Yep.
By the way, it should be optional. And when people couldn't join, they just share their view on the thread. So we take into consideration their views as well.
And we can't make decisions on those calls anyway, because it has to be a decision of each individual working group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
agree. It's more like the plan, right? That kind of the brainstorm and what next.
So my request is, John, can you start a new thread with just the messaging documents so that we can, not the documents, because it's a Google slide and will not let you suggested mode. Can we help move forward the document through that thread or whatever document you wish that we use? I mean, whatever is easier.
Well, we already have the CN4J thread where we're discussing some of these issues, right?
But no, that is different. We have not focused on just working on the mission, on the new message technical. You see, the first time I saw the document was when we jumped into the call, and that thread has not started to say, hey, we need to work on this. The two communities, let's start here, right? I believe that if we have done that before the call would have been much more focused. And it's amazing that the call is recorded because it really shows how awesome everyone was joining and being a little bit frustrated, but it's still cordial. So I'm saying, can we do that? Can we send, just to say, here is the thing, use this thread to improve and shape this document. That's it. And I can send that as well, but I'm asking, maybe you will like to do that? John?
Well, I think the perspectives on technical relationship kind of covers the exact topics that we're going to be discussing on the call.
Yeah,
be honest.
It seems like you're asking him to like put shape on something that we intend to shape in the call.
So then you want, and then this one, can we then add the document and say, this is a document we need to focus on and just, follow through?
Well,
because
I think that's fair, adding a link to the discussion saying, this is where we'll be capturing the decisions out of this discussion. I think that's a fair message to send.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Boy, and for some reason, let me turn off my video. I get buffered up here on some of my typing. Okay, there we go. Turn my video back on. Additional goals, Rudy, I think I saw you typing away.
Yes, I looked up the things which were written down in the program plan, and 3 out of the 4 we are already doing those things, like that MicroProfile compatibility. I updated typos. MicroProfile is not written correctly, sorry. Streamline the release process, that was also discussed in marketing, for instance, and new specifications. The only thing, but I guess we need to postpone that even further, is that the growing pains one, although that is also maybe part of the CN4J one, but we are moving along with that also then.
Yeah, I think that's a good update, Rudy. See, we're like the most efficient because everyone else is doing the work. We're just reporting on it.
Yes.
So I claim the most efficient award. Okay, just trying to inject a little humor, everyone. All right, thanks for the update. Miscellaneous. And I don't know if there's anything that we need to cover here.
Can we celebrate again, Edwin? Congratulate, he became a Java champion. Can we celebrate him?
Yay.
All right.
Got it.
Congratulations. Insert balloon emoji here.
We should tweet.
Yes.
Celebration.
MicroProfile.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes,
I mean, basically, it's like good for people to know that if you become involved in something like MicroProfile, it can go somewhere for you.
Mm-hmm.
You get a jacket.
You get a jacket. You get a nice jacket, right?
Yeah, like
you got hoodie as well. You got hoodie.
Yes.
T-shirt.
Edwin has not the hoodie, but the t-shirts, the proper t-shirts.
I have neither a jacket nor a hoodie, so I'm missing out.
You'll get the jacket. Yeah, but it'd be nice to say something like, congratulations to MicroProfile, committer or rep Edwin for becoming a Java champion. You're valuable to the community, something like that.
Yeah, we will write a Git ticket. This when I saw it, yes, and I was like, we highlight new committers for MicroProfile, new members, and this is also something that we need to highlight. So a new Git issue will have to be created on this. But I think it's fun. And Edwin, how do you feel? Because we are almost in the ready. We're all talking, but you.
Actually,
I'm used to that.
Yeah, I would like to have Edwin to create the marketing Git ticket to extol his own virtues.
Everybody loves to do that.
Oh my God! Seriously.
Everyone loves to say, "Oh, I'm so awesome."
Exactly, Edwin.
Okay.
The room is yours. Come on,
Good
say something,
John.
Yeah. Say something.
Okay, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. Sorry,
No,
Edwin,
no,
I
no,
apologize if I talked over you. I just had to get that out just because.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like seriously, Edwin, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel okay. I was pleasantly surprised yesterday because I was just chilling around after the gym. I came home and I looked at my phone and I saw that my Twitter was exploded. I was like, how can I have so many notifications? This is not normal. And I opened my Twitter and I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, it was it was a nice surprise.
It was a nice surprise. The nice amount of notifications for a nice surprise,
Yeah. So exactly that. So yeah, I'm. It's nice to be recognized by the community that I love and love to do stuff with. So yeah, thanks all for the nomination.
Awesome. All right, with that, I think we can probably end the call 2 minutes early. Well, enjoy your 2 minutes. Next week, this time is the technical call, and in 2 weeks, we'll see everyone for the MicroProfile live hangout.
Mm-hmm.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.